Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us at our permaculture charrette, and thank you for being interested and inspired enough to come help us plan the Perspective Garden. We'd like to open with a lovely poem by John Rogers, a poem of mindful cultivation.
Be mindful, build humbly, plant trees, grow flowers, and clothe the earth with dignity. Respect all creatures. Be brave. Speak truth. Heal the sick and make peace. Be strong. Serve patiently. Love generously. Live simply. Let your work be your prayer.
Unearth the beauty in everything. Inhale the spirit of goodness. Kindle kindness, especially towards yourself. Embracing the sweet silence of your own soul, fear nothing. Accept what you are, and while you have breath, give thanks.
On that note, we'd like to thank you all for coming here today to help us explore the possibilities of a Perspective Permaculture Garden here on campus. Thank you.
All right, welcome everybody. We have arrived at our charrette, and I think to begin, maybe we'll talk a little bit, or I'll tell you a little bit about what a charrette is in case you don't know. It's a French word, and it is for a collaborative brainstorm event. And so we're going to be working together to create a vision for a Perspective Permaculture Garden. And so it's a creative, active event, a charrette. And we are the Permaculture Student Forum, and I'm Ginevra Buckland Lane.
I am Crystal Graybeal.
I'm Sarah Rashad.
I'm Andrew Peck.
I'm Samantha Boothroyd.
I'm Chris O'Connell.
Cool. And we are here for the Farm and Food Systems Initiative here on campus. It's the beginning. It started last semester, and it's growing. And it's actually from the coordinator of the Farm and Food Systems, Aber Dresdale, our professor as well, who has put this together. Awesome. And so I think we're about ready to get started here. I think I'm going to give you a little outlook on our day. So where we're going to start, we're going to have a little intro from Chris and Crystal in a moment, giving us a little bit of background and a little bit of where we're headed today also. And then, so breakout groups are going to start after that, and then we're going to have a voting and food time, which is going to be about 15 minutes to mingle and move about. And then after that, we're going to have design time. Right, we're going to go over what we did in the section before that and through our breakout groups. And then we're going to have our design time. And then we're going to close out our day after that, after seeing our wonderful designs. And so that's the outline of our day. And so Chris and Crystal are going to give us a zoom out of where we're coming from, how we came from our food systems class to be the Permaculture Student Forum today, and then into the future. So take it away.
Great, thank you for being here and being supportive of us. This is intense, to say the least. And I'm super nervous, and you're all smiling at me right now, so I'm really grateful for that. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Actually, I just want to take a thanks to all the unseen people who have helped us pull this off today. So, Aber Dresdale, our instructor, has worked tirelessly. All the faculty, Peter Rosnick and the dean, all the staff who helped set up the room and did technology and supported us. We would have fallen on our face a long time ago with all these people, including yourself, supporting us. So give them a round of applause, please. Okay, and just quickly about how we got here. Last semester, we were all in a class together called Introduction to Food Systems, I believe EVS 118. And one of the goals of that class was to study the global and local food system. So to tell you more about what we found in those two systems is Crystal.
Great, so what I think of when I think of food systems generally is global and local. And when I think of local or global food systems, I picture things like monocropping. So I picture things like giant cornfields growing corn that we can't actually eat as people. I think of giant tractors out on the land tilling things up. And I think of the soil being disturbed. That tilling disrupts the delicate life cycles that are happening in that soil. I also think of the pollution that those tractors are causing, and all the petrochemicals, gas, the diesel that goes into them is going right back out into our atmosphere. And I think of the soil compaction. I think of the pressure of those big thousands of pounds of machinery pressing down on the earth, thank you, pressing down on the earth and making it really hard for things to grow. And I think of herbicides and pesticides being sprayed all over beautiful orchards and all over farm fields, and they're not just hitting the plants, they're hitting the ground and getting washed off into our streams. Just think of the effects of that. I think of people with a lot of money claiming land in other countries from people who maybe do not have very much money. And I think of the devastation that's caused when that happens. I think of people's livelihoods being destroyed, and I think of a lot of cheap, low-quality food coming in because of it. I think of feedlots where thousands upon thousands of animals are packed into a tiny space with food that they're not meant to eat, and with barely enough room to move around. And I think of mistreatment. I think of mistreatment of those animals and of people who are working in those feedlots and those factories. And I think of how we take what we think are the good things in food and we suck them out and isolate them and put them into pills that we can take so we don't have to eat the food to get the good stuff, right? Right? Looks delicious. Really? We don't know where our food comes from for the most part. And this makes me think of a group of 3rd and 4th graders that I taught last semester, and it was a huge learning experience. The first day I walked in, it was a cooking class, so I'm teaching these kids in a school that has no kitchen. They get their food shipped in from the middle school down the street, and it's all heavily processed, pre-made, barely warm. And I say, okay, so what do you know about where your food comes from? And I'm holding a thing of Maple Line yogurt. And they say, grocery store. I say, great, well, think about the product. Where's the yogurt come from? They say, well, milk, right? And I say, yeah, milk. Where's that milk come from? A cow. Where's that cow? Grocery store. And that's the real answer. I really got that answer from a group of 9 3rd and 4th graders. They really thought there was a bunch of happy cows living behind a big Y, being milked into a bucket, and that some woman with a little apron was making yogurt in the back. And it just stunned me. And so zooming back out a little bit, I want to tell you a bit of a story. So take a look at this picture here and start to think about what the story behind that could be. So say, for example, this person inherits the family farm after their parents retire, right? So they find out they can get a subsidy, money from the government, to grow a certain crop. So they start growing potatoes. And they plant the potatoes and all these weeds start popping up. And they think, oh no, what do I do? And they don't think about the why. Why are those weeds popping up? Well, because it's all one type of plant in tiny little rows. And there's no ground cover, there's nothing protecting the soil, right? So they're like, oh, weeds, what do I do? They call the people they bought the seeds from, possibly Monsanto. And Monsanto says, no problem, I got you covered. I have an herbicide that will kill everything but your plant. Your plant will survive this herbicide. So they spray it, everything's fine. A little bit later, they see this pest knocking out their entire crop. They say, oh, no, again, what do I do? They don't think about the why. Why is that happening? With monocropping, you're creating a bug buffet. And those bugs are coming in and eating everything. Right? So they spray the pesticide on there. Monsanto solves the problem again. And they cultivate the crop, they harvest everything, and it goes from potato to a big factory where it's made into a potato chip, processed into food, to us, where we go to the automated checkout and we pay with a credit card, and we don't even have to deal with people or the real food. Really.
So now that we know, so in the class we looked at that food system. Now that we know, I have a really, will you hold this for me? Thank you. I have a really crude and simplistic analogy here. This is the global food system. So, and many of you probably heard our children are like sponges. You see what's happening here? Herbicides, ooh, terrible. Terrible. This is our children. Feel free to shout out any negative implications or aspects from the global food system. Anyone? Cancer, yeah. Ooh, it's awful. What? Asthma, that's right. Diabetes, did I hear diabetes? Diabetes. Oh, I can't do it anymore. Yeah, so this is what's happening. This is what's happening in our global food system. We're getting foods that are poisoning us and our children. So the question we were asking is, now that we know, thank you. I might need you to do that again. Now that we know, what do we do about it? So that's the global food system. It's really unhealthy. It's really negatively affecting us. How do we create something different? How do we create, here's where it gets crude, how do we create a clean bowl of water? How do we create this container for a local food system? So aspects of the healthy local food system, again, feel free to shout them out. I'm going to say fresh food. It's like our children get fresh food. Anything else, please? Clean water, yeah, great. What? Caring, yeah, people who care about our food. They also care. What? Best management practices, I love it. Thanks, Abra. Anyone else? Know your farmer. Danny Botkin, local farmer people. Thank you. Clean air. Oh my God. Yeah. Nutrition. Okay, so one more crude aspect of this is like, yeah. I like that it's dripping. That's nice. So that's the question. How do we create this? So at the end of the class, we're at Sandy Thomas's house. We just gave our final presentations, and one of the design recommendations from the cultivation pod, it was a pod structure in that class, 7 different pods looking at 7 different aspects of the local food system, global food system, is, all right, how do we move forward? And as a class, we just decided, let's work at GCC. What can we do at GCC? Let's create a permaculture garden. So how many people know what permaculture is? Raise your hand. All right, so a good many of you. Welcome to those just arriving. Thank you. Yeah, permaculture. So just a bit about what permaculture is. It's a design system between humans and any system, in this case an ecological system, a landscape, that's designed to increase and regenerate health. So that's this. Increasing and regenerating health. Every time someone takes a dip, it's a dip from clean air, from clean water, from good local food, where you know your local farmer. So that's what we're trying to create. And at that meeting, the next meeting we had was like, what group of students want to work in a classroom to help create a permaculture garden here on campus? So a group of us came together, and at that meeting, UMass Permaculture, we actually have people here from UMass Permaculture. Please raise your hand. They just went to the White House to represent us locally. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for representing us so proudly. So they just went to the White House. Ryan Harb, the leader of their team, was here, and he was giving us recommendations about how we could move forward. So that was the question: how do we create this? And they've done this at UMass. At UMass, they took a field and they transformed it. They transformed it into a permaculture designed foodscape that's providing food to the dining commons, which is just right next door. 1,000 pounds last year. Is that right? 1,000 pounds? 1,000 pounds. There's a reason they're getting recognition, because they're doing something so amazing for our community, and we want to do that here. We want to create this amazing opportunity here. So the question is, how do we do that? And our hope today is that if the bowl here is our goals and the water is sort of the design, you guys help us create both. So our hope today is that the goals that you offer, the vision that we're sharing here today, becomes the energy and the foundation for building something so powerful in our community that then people come to this campus, students, community members, and they take a little bit of that, and they take that knowledge home with them. Permaculture. It's like they take some of this. They take some of this home with them. You know, they take biodiversity, they take clean air, they take clean water, they take all these amazing things home with them. It's going to transform and secure our community. Food isn't just about food, it's about community, it's about peace, it's about justice, it's about security, it's about all these things. This is our future. This is our future. The vision that we create today will affect our communities for the next 20 to 50 years. This is powerful. I'm really, really proud of what we're doing. And these are just some aspects of a permaculture garden that we could potentially create here on campus. This will become the linchpin, I don't know if that's the right word, but this will become a staple of a really strong food education here. This will become the staple of a really strong food education that moves our community forward. A respectful, healthy, and grateful food system. A regenerative food system where we mentor one another and we work together to shape our community.
So I want to go back to this point here. So when we were in our pods, our groups, looking at everything together, we all sort of realized, especially the cultivation pod, realized that there was this overlap between permaculture and the GCC campus. And GCC has always been really on the edge of sustainability. Like, there's a lot of green energy going into here, obviously. Take a look around. It's amazing. The greenhouse is zero net energy, I'm pretty sure. It's awesome. And there was an overlap, and that was an awesome leverage point. And that's a huge part of the reason we're here right now, because this is a resource, and it's really supportive, and they're really generous. And that's why we're standing in this room and why they're giving us the opportunity to design for a perspective garden right here on campus. And I also wanted to go back to this. It's awesome. We know these people. They're in the room with us right now. How cool is that, right? So what's happening right here and what's happening at UMass, that's a great picture, is just part of a bigger movement that's way beyond this valley. There are schools like Wesleyan, Wellesley, oh man, I can't even think, Hampshire College. There are so many places that have this sort of thing going on, and we're just one part of it. And right now, our job is to keep that little spark going and to pass it off to other people so we could potentially become an example like UMass Amherst. We've got really great examples. We can do this.
Awesome. That was awesome. Okay. This is awesome. I'm really excited about this. This is the phase where we move into breakout groups, and we're going to be moving about the room, and I'm going to show you where and how and what. Okay. So these are our 4 breakout groups, and we invite you to move to whichever comes up for you as where you want to be. You're welcome to find your place and sit down and spend the next half an hour or so brainstorming with your group. And so we've got student and community life, aesthetics and landscaping, garden production, and education. And I will direct you to where this is. Now, this is our goals, which is creating ideas and visions, maybe some concerns, but really letting your mind go. And your facilitator will help guide you in that direction. And we're so excited to hear from all of you. I didn't let you guys know this before, but I'm a little bit of an MC and a little bit of your timekeeper today. But that was really great, and we appreciate your energy and thoughts, and it's so great to have you all here again. So we're going to be headed into our break time, which is our eating time and voting time. So we're going to have people circulating right now to give out 3 stickers to each person. These are going to actually be used on all of the brainstorming you just did. They're going to be hung up here on the window, and you can circulate with your food and your stickers and make your top 3 votes of the day between all of these groups. And that is going to be the information that we're gathering to create our goals for our design. So here we are, and we're moving into our design phase. This is for all of us to go to our most outrageous, imaginative places and get absolutely creative. Do not limit yourselves. And we're going to give you all of your doodling needs to be able to create this design. And we'll have Samantha that's going to give you a little layout of the land that we are describing. And meanwhile, while you get set up, what we just did was gathering our goals that I described. So I'm going to actually go through over these lists while you guys are getting set up and tell you which ones actually came out to be our highest priorities in our goals today. So, from garden production, we have a lot of enthusiasm around the maintenance and our summer issue being that students aren't so much on campus right now. And maybe we need more of a program to host maintenance, upkeep, action, activity. Then from education, intergenerational, tribal, designed for all ages, children's garden and access, wheelchair access and raised beds. So really being accessible for all different types, age groups of people. Awesome. Aesthetics and landscaping, involving other departments, photography, art department, and for beauty. Very cool. Aesthetics and landscaping, attract bees and butterflies for aesthetics. I also see that being a little bit maybe under multi-use, being attracting many different things for many different reasons. To be beneficial for our environment. Okay. Different sections can demonstrate systems. Gray water, koi pond. So we can have many different kinds of demonstrations for people to learn a whole lot in one place. Recycle materials. Car rim for planter. We use junk functionally to create modern art and combine aesthetics and functionality. Nice. Student and community life. Outdoor classroom. Very cool. Signage, interactive learning, extremely high-tech digital plant database. That actually, I think, is something that UMass has and that was shared with us at our table. Labeling, no, sorry. No, yeah. Labeling, identifying features. Native plant and heritage plants. And one more from student and community life. Closed loop systems, gray water, stormwater collection, rain gardens. And two more, actually. Summer internships, get credit. Under sacred elements is medicinal plants. So we've just gathered all of that information into our top priorities here. And from that, I want you guys to keep stewing and bring all these ideas into your designs now and really harness all these fantastic goals we just came up with. We're going to orient you a little bit with the map that you have on your table now with Samantha Boothroyd.
First, I want to talk a little bit about the design process. One of the first steps that we do is we gather goals, which we just did here. All of the goals that she just outlined for us. And we take the goals and we combine them with the existing conditions, so the map that you have in front of you, what's already there on the land, and we try and make the land meet our goals through our design. So it's a combination of both our goals and what's there. And we need to take into account like the soil and the sun when we put stuff where we put stuff. So this is our spot. You have it all in front of you. We have our net zero energy greenhouse. It's new. I'm sure most of you or some of you have seen it. It's over there. And north is facing that way. And we have the 1/8 of an acre around the greenhouse to design. And that's the area for our perspective garden. And the south building there, the staircase, the walkway is what outlines the area. And we have the early morning sun. So on the south arc, the sun comes. We have the midday sun and then the hot evening sun. So plants that can tolerate like hotter weather, maybe towards the hotter evening sun. And it also slopes down. The slope is really more extreme on the east, and as it goes towards the south, the slope lessens a little bit, but it's a sloping surface. And what we're doing with our class, we're taking these goals that we gather and we're actually going to be designing the part through the second half of our forum.
Done such an awesome job. It's been so cool to see what you're all doing out there and circulating. So here we are at the closing of our day of our charrette here together, and I want to let you know that we're going to be harvesting all of this information, all of the goals, all of your designs, and compiling them for our goals in creating a perspective design for a Greenfield Community College. And a lot of what has been coming up is production of food and how Fitzvoigt has now dedicated to producing 20% locally grown food in the cafeteria, and so we are furthermore helping them in getting to that goal. Yeah, it's very exciting. All right. Now, I'm going to invite you, please, to actually stand up for a moment and put your pencils down and circulate around the room just for about 3 minutes. Silently is great, just so we can move about and really take in some designs that are out there and to get our brains going, moving. And then we'll all sit down again to have our closing words. Thank you.
Well, folks, this was really successful. It went really smoothly, and it was beautiful. I thank you all so much for donating your time, for being here for our Perspective Permaculture Garden. I just want to say a few words. Last fall, I was part of the cultivation group, and along with the education group in the food systems class, Intro to Food Systems class. We got a big response that GCC was the best place in Greenfield, a leverage point to get the word out there about permaculture and to keep the permaculture movement continuing and educational, inspiring and visible. I am so proud of all of us, and thank you so much. Proud of you for being here and contributing. That we are well on our way to envisioning a compassionate, earth-friendly, educational, and inspiring perspective garden. It's great and inspiring. Thanks to this lovely woman, Abra Dresdale, an inspiring teacher. There's now a agricultural option, not called a major. It's called a Farm and Food Systems degree option. So if you're interested, look into that. I know I am. Using the goals gathered from the forum today, we are going to go forth and bring back our best final design. And on May 15th is our final presentation. We invite you all, please come back and see what has been produced. It's from May 15th from 1 to 2 p.m. It's in the multi-purpose room C208, which I believe is on this level, somewhere over in that area. Yep. And we now invite and encourage you to hang out and mingle and browse over all the genius that has been produced on these designs. And you are free to go at this point. The shred is over. But just to let you know, a big part of why all of us, the forum, the core group is here, is because we stayed after class and made networking and made connections and just were interested and involved.
Yeah, just one more thing is there is a small note on your seed packet for our final presentation. The work you've done here today will inform what we're going to be doing in the future, so come back and see what ideas that you shared that we've implemented. And also on your tables are small index cards, 3x5 index cards. Feel free to give any feedback things that you thought really worked or something that you would do differently to improve upon the experience. So, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for coming. Good night.